Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, 1, 2, we'd like to ask everyone to please go to their seats. 1, 2. It's the county system. I knew I should have brought mine. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're asking everyone to kindly take a seat as we get ready to begin our ceremony. George, it seems if you get up on the mic, it cuts out, but I think that's going to be okay. What a very cooperative group you are. Has to be military involved, people that take orders and actually carry them out. Two, 1, 2. Yes, we are waiting for something. I'm not sure what that is at the moment, but we are waiting for something. I'll take this opportunity not to welcome you yet, but to please ask a favor of everyone here. Would you kindly take out your cell phones and either turn them completely off or silence them if you know how? Good afternoon and welcome to the County Assembly Room at Route 12 Complex in Raritan Township, where we are hosting the 2022 Hunterdon County Veterans Recognition Medal Ceremony being held in person for the first time since 2019 and also being live streamed. At this time, I've been asked to please silence your cell phones. Today, ladies and gentlemen, is Veterans Day. And for all of us who live in a blanket of freedom, we should always be grateful to those who helped preserve it. Earlier today at the 11th hour, on this 11th day of this 11th month, the Hunterdon County Historic Courthouse bell tolled 21 times to honor our veterans, as it has every year on Veterans Day since the commemoration of the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I in 2018. During today's ceremony, we will be recognizing the service of nearly 40 county veterans. We will hear from our guest speaker, a Vietnam veteran originally from Redington Township, who will be speaking about his twin brother, an Army helicopter pilot who lost his life serving our country in Vietnam 53 years ago. I ask that all in attendance, again, I ask that all in attendance now rise as Hunterdon County Board of Commissioners Deputy Director Zach Rich leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for our national anthem and the invocation by Pastor Conrad, a Marine veteran of service in Vietnam.
Thank you, Dan. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm honored to be here today. Course of events in my life, a day like today is a good day to be alive. And I trust that you would appreciate the day as well. I want to pray, and just before I pray, the words of Jesus, "No greater love hath any man, but to lay down his life for a friend." I trust we're all friends. Let us pray. Dear Lord, today we honor our veterans, worthy men and women who gave their best when they were called upon to serve and to protect their country. We pray that you will bless them for their unselfish service in a continual struggle to preserve our freedom, our safety, our country's heritage, and for all of us. Amen.
You may have a seat. So often, ladies and gentlemen, when I do public events and I play the national anthem, it's hard to find a flag. Today is not the case. You can find as many flags as you can here at the meeting room. It's time to introduce our county officials joining in the presentation of medals to our veterans today, so please welcome. We have Congressman Tom Malinowski, who will be making a very special presentation later in the program. Surrogate Susan Hoffman, our longest-serving official, who is nearing the anniversary of her 40th year as our surrogate. Sheriff Fred W. Brown, a United States Navy veteran. Prosecutor Renee Robeson. Deputy Director Zach Rich. Commissioner Sean Van Doren. Commissioner Susan Soloway. And Commissioner Jeff Kuhl. Board Director John Lanza had a family obligation today that precludes him from joining us. County Clerk Mary Melfi is likewise unable to join us as she attends to her important post-election responsibilities. Mary has donated the Thank a Vet decals that everyone here today is invited to take with them at the conclusion of our ceremony. Director Lanza and Clerk Melfi both send their regards, best wishes, and sincere thanks to our veterans receiving medals here today. The Hunterdon County Veterans Recognition Medal was designed over 20 years ago by county resident and Vietnam veteran, the late Mr. John Hatzikalfas. We have often heard over the years from many of the recipients how much they value this unique award. The past 2 years, due to the coronavirus, the Veterans Recognition Program could not be held in person, but instead was live streamed to reach the audience of recipients, their families and friends, and other veterans, and of course, the general public. This year, we welcome back in person our veterans. And all of our guests in attendance today. The program will proceed as follows. I will conduct a roll call, naming each of our medal recipients, who will be escorted forward to receive their medal, which will be individually presented by one of our officials in the presentation area. It says to point. I'm assuming I'm like a flight attendant these days. The service of each recipient will be highlighted by a slideshow on the screen here and on the live stream presentation for all those out in TV land or computer land. Many of our veterans have also supplied us with some photos from their time in service, and we thank them for that. You will hear a roll call of veterans today. that spans more than 60 years of military service to our nation and demonstrates the achievements of those who have served. We ask all veterans and guests, once a veteran has received their medal, please remain here for the full ceremony out of honor and respect for your fellow veterans who also are here having their service recognized, and as well as for the presentation by our guest speaker, Vietnam veteran Don Haver. And we have some other special presentations as well. Due to work, family commitments, or health issues, not all of our veterans are able to attend the ceremony today. But we value their service, and they will be recognized today with their medal being awarded at a later time. Refreshments are generously provided by Flemington Chick-fil-A. We will serve those at the conclusion of the ceremonies. When all the medal recipients have been recognized, Pastor Conrad will come back and offer a benediction to close our ceremony. Please make note through the roll call of medal recipients. I will repeat the statement to our veterans. Your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here today and all the people of Hunterdon County. While that phrase will be repeated numerous times today, it is done so and meant as an individual statement to each and every veteran with all heartfelt sincerity by me, our officials, and all those involved in making this ceremony possible. Roll call of medal recipients. George T. Christensen of Clinton Township began his service in 1980 as a United States Marine, receiving the Marine Good Conduct Medal, and later served in the Army National Guard, retiring as Lieutenant Colonel. During his service, he was activated for service in Iraq and received the Bronze Star Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and the Iraq Campaign Medal, along with numerous other awards recognizing his service. George, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all those people of Hunterdon County. Please join the Dean of our officials, Surrogate Susan Hoffman, for the presentation of your medal. John T. Dawson of Raritan Township, a captain in the Marine Corps, served as a helicopter pilot in the Marines and the United States Air Force from 1993 to 2002. He was awarded the Navy and Marine Overseas Service and Seas Service Deployment Ribbons and the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, among other awards. John, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Sheriff Brown for the presentation of your medal. John Stephen Dendis, Jr. of Raritan Township, served in the United States Army Reserve from 1968 to 1974, achieving the rank of Specialist 4th Class and serving on active duty as a part of the Summer Training Unit for West Point Cadets at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. John, while you are unable to attend today's ceremony, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Thomas Duke of Raritan Township served as an aircraft maintenance specialist with the 438th Field Maintenance Squadron in the United States Air Force, attaining the rank of sergeant while serving from 1975 to 1979. Thomas, thank you to you for your service and for our nation, greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Prosecutor Renee Robeson for the presentation of your medal. Roy E. Emerson of Clinton Township was promoted from the enlisted to officer ranks in the United States Army, attaining the rank of Major, serving from 1988 to 2019. Roy, an airborne ranger, is the recipient of many, many awards and decorations, including the Combat Infantryman Badge awarded to infantrymen who fought in active ground combat. Roy, while you are unable to attend today's ceremony, please know that your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Christopher D. Jager of Reddington retired as Sergeant First Class in 2009, following a long career with the Army National Guard, which included 2 deployments in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Sergeant First Class Yeager has been recognized for his service with numerous awards, including the Iraq Campaign Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and the Joint Service Commendation Medal. Christopher, while you are unable to attend today's ceremony, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. John Carey of Bethlehem served as a medical laboratory specialist from 1957 to 1959 at the U.S. Army Medical Unit, Fort Derrick, Maryland, in Biomedical Research Division Unit. John was awarded the Good Conduct Medal in recognition of his service. John, while you are unable to attend today's ceremony, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Charles Castellanos of Lebanon Township served in the United States Navy from 1958 to 1961, including 18 months at sea aboard the destroyer, the USS John Paul Jones, and was recognized with the Navy's Good Conduct Medal. Charles, while you are unable to join us today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Christopher D. Kidd of Clinton Township attained the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, serving in the United States Army and Army Reserve as an infantry officer while earning the Ranger Tab and Parachutist Badge. Colonel Kidd, who served the nation for 28 years, also received the Global War on Terrorism Service, Iraq Campaign, National Defense Service, and Army Commendation Medals, among numerous other medals in recognition of his service. Christopher, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Deputy Director Zach Rich for the presentation of your medal. Stanley A. Kober of Bethlehem, a Bronze Star recipient, attained the rank of captain in the United States Army, serving from 1965 to 1970, including service in the Republic of South Vietnam for 2 years and 8 months. Captain Kober earned the Combat Infantryman Badge, received the Vietnam Service and Vietnam Campaign Medals, and the Air Medal, among numerous other awards, including the Vietnam Cross of Gallantry, which is awarded by the government of South Vietnam for deeds of valor or heroic conduct while in combat with the enemy. Stanley, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Commissioner Sean Van Doren for the presentation of your medal. Joseph Lowry of Reddington served with the 538th Transportation Company in the United States Army in the Republic of South Vietnam from 1965 to 1967 and was recognized for his service with the National Defense Service, Vietnam Service, and Vietnam Campaign Medals. Joseph, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all those of Hunterdon County. Please join Commissioner Sue Soloway for the presentation of your medal. Stephen F. Marks of Raritan Township served in the United States Army from 1967 to 1969, including service in the Army's Pacific Command, attained the rank of Specialist 5, and was awarded the National Defense Service and Good Conduct Medals in recognition of his service. Stephen, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Commissioner Jeff Kuhl for the presentation of your medal. Joseph J. McGann of Delaware Township Served in the United States Air Force and Air Force Reserve from 1986 to 2012 as an electronic warfare systems specialist and an in-flight refuel craftsman, attaining the rank of Senior Master Sergeant and earning the Air Force Commendation, Good Conduct, and Combat Readiness medals, along with many other medals in recognition of his service. Joseph, while you are unable to join us today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Kevin M. McKim of Highbridge served in the United States Army and Army Reserve from 2002 to 2013, attaining the rank of Sergeant First Class and receiving the Bronze Star and the Iraq Campaign Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary and Global War on Terrorism Service medals, among numerous other awards in recognition of his service. Kevin, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Surrogate Susan Hoffman for the presentation of your medal. James J. Metsopoulos of Delaware Township served in the United States Army from 1967 to 1970, serving the Republic of South Vietnam. Trained as a medical corpsman and clinical specialist, James received the Vietnam Service and Campaign medals in addition to the Army Commendation and National Defense Service medals in recognition for his service. James, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Sheriff Brown for the presentation of your medal. Stanley M. Meletzko of Reddington is a United States Marine serving from 2008 to 2012, including serving the nation in Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan and Iraqi Freedom in Iraq. Stanley was recognized with the Combat Action Ribbon for Afghanistan, the Afghanistan Campaign and Iraqi Campaign medals, and the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, among numerous other awards. Stanley, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Prosecutor Robeson for the presentation of your medal. Daniel A. North of East Amwell served as a radio operator in the United States Army from 1983 to 1991, including nearly 7 years of foreign service in the United States Army Europe, receiving the National Defense, Army Commendation, and Good Conduct medals, among other awards in recognition of his service. Daniel, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Deputy Director Rich for the presentation of your medal. Alejandro Olivero of West Amwell served in the United States Army and Army Reserve from 2005 to 2015, attaining the rank of captain. Among his other duty assignments, Captain Olivero served in Iraq and at the United States military base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Captain Olivero received the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal and the Korean Defense Service Medal, in addition to many other awards in recognition of his service. Alejandro, while you are unable to join us today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Gregory Owen of Reddington served in the United States Air Force and Air Force Reserve from 1980 to 2016, being recognized with numerous awards, including the War on Terrorism Service and Humanitarian Service Medals, the Air Force Commendation Medal, and, not surprisingly, given his long dedicated service, the Air Force Longevity Service Medal. Gregory, while you are unable to join us here today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Jeffrey Perrin of Flemington, a journalist second class, served in the United States Navy from 1987 to 1992, including over 1 year of service at sea, assigned to the Navy amphibious assault ship, the USS New Orleans. Jeff was recognized with the National Defense Service Medal and the Southwest Asia Service Medal, among other medals. Jeffrey, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Commissioner Van Doren for the presentation of your medal. Raymond Parati of Raritan Township served in the United States Navy from 1966 to 1969, including service on the Navy destroyer, the USS Davis, in the waters of the Republic of South Vietnam. Raymond was recognized with the Vietnam Service and Campaign Medals and National Defense Service Medal and the Combat Action Ribbon. Raymond, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Commissioner Soloway for the presentation of your medal. George L. Ragland III of Raritan Township began his service in the United States Navy in 1999 and retired in 2019 as Chief Petty Officer and as a Chief Information Systems Technician. During his career, Chief Ragland was awarded the Armed Forces Expeditionary, the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary, and Global War on Terrorism Service Medals, as well as the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, along with many other awards recognizing his long service. George, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Commissioner Kuhl for the presentation of your medal. Ryan Reap, the owner and manager of the Flemington Chick-fil-A, has generously donated the refreshments for today's events. served as lieutenant in the United States Navy from 2009 to 2013, receiving the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, as well as the Navy and Marine Corps Good Conduct and National Defense Service Medals in recognition of his service. Ryan, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Surrogate Hoffman for the presentation of your medal. Roland B. Rodenbaugh of Delaware Township is a U.S. Marine serving from 1992 to 1996 with the 1st Marine Aircraft Wing in Okinawa, Japan, for which he was awarded the National Defense Service and Marine Good Contact Medals, as well as the Sea Service Deployment Ribbon in recognition of his service. Roland, while you are unable to join us today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Robert San Antonio of Reddington served in the United States Navy from 1982 to 1986, including serving aboard the guided missile destroyer, the USS Preble, and was awarded the Navy Good Conduct and Navy Expeditionary Medals and the Sea Service Ribbon for his over 3 years at sea. Robert, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Sheriff Brown for the presentation of your medal. Gregory P. Sawtell from Tewksbury retired as captain in the United States Navy, serving from 1996 to 2020. Captain Sawtell is the recipient of numerous awards during his long and successful career, including the Meritorious Service and Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medals and the Legion of Merit, to name a few. Gregory, while you are unable to join us today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. William J. Solkes of Union Township is a United States Marine serving from 1958 to 1962 with the 2nd Marine Division. As a shore party man, attaining the rank of corporal and being recognized for his service with the Marine Good Conduct Medal. William, while you are unable to join us today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Gregory Scipione of Raritan Township served as a maritime enforcement specialist with the United States Coast Guard from 2014 to 2020, receiving the Coast Guard Meritorious Team Commendation, Coast Guard Good Conduct Medal, and Sea Service Ribbon, in addition to other awards in recognition of his service. Gregory, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Prosecutor Robeson for the presentation of your medal. Kevin R. Shanahan of Glen Gardner is a United States Marine serving from 2004 to 2009, first as a Marine rifleman and then on the Marine Security Forces. Kevin received the Combat Action Ribbon Afghanistan, the Afghanistan Campaign Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and the Marine Good Conduct Medal, among many other awards in recognition of his service. Kevin, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Deputy Director Rich for the presentation of your medal. Michael J. Sharkey of Glen Gardner served in the United States Army from 2011 to 2014 as a cannon crew member, attaining the rank of sergeant, and received the Afghanistan Campaign Medal, the NATO Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, among numerous other awards in recognition of his service. Michael, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Commissioner Van Doren for the presentation of your medal. Donald R. Skoritz of Glen Gardner served in the United States Army from 1967 to 1968 in the Republic of South Vietnam as a combat engineer demolition specialist. Donald was recognized for his service by being awarded the Vietnam Service and Vietnam Campaign Medals, in addition to the National Defense Service Medal. Donald, while you are unable to join us today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Ross R. Soares of Bethlehem Township served as a lieutenant in the United States Army from 2010 to 2014 and received the Bronze Star Medal, Afghanistan Campaign, Global War on Terrorism Service, and NATO medals, in addition to other medals recognizing his service. Ross, while you are unable to join us today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Matthew W. St. Thomas of Raritan Township served in the United States Navy from 1992 to 1994, including 7 months sea service, and he was awarded the National Defense Service Medal in recognition of his service. Matthew, while you are unable to join us today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Richard Titchener of Kingwood is a United States Marine reservist serving from 2005 to 2011, who has seen deployment to both Operation Iraqi Freedom and Afghanistan during his service. Richard received the Iraqi Campaign and Armed Forces Reserve Medals and Afghanistan Campaign and NATO medals, the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medals, among other awards in recognition of his service. Richard, while you are unable to join us today, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Richard C. Vale of Clinton Township is a United States Navy Academy graduate who attained the rank of major during his long service from 1988 to 2004 in the Marines and Marine Reserves. Major Vale served as a Marine officer in the First Gulf War, receiving the Kuwait Liberation, Expeditionary, Southwest Asia Service, and Humanitarian Service medals, in addition to many other awards recognizing his service. Richard, while you are unable to attend today's ceremony, please know your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Michael D. Williamson of Clinton Township served in the United States Navy from 1964 to 1968, serving as a radio man aboard the destroyer the USS Blandy in waters around the Republic of South Vietnam. Michael was recognized with the National Defense Service and Vietnam Service medals for his service. Michael, your service to and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all of the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Commissioner Soloway for the presentation of your medal. William H. Ewells, Jr., who is retiring next month from his career as the Network Administrator in Hunterdon County's Information Technology Department, where he has provided exemplary service for 25 years. Served in the United States Air Force from 1985 to 1989. Bill was recognized for his service with numerous awards, including the Air Force Good Conduct and Achievement Medals and the Air Force Overseas Short Tour Ribbon, as he served in South Korea for over a year. Bill, your service to and sacrifice for our nation, as well as your dedicated service to the county, are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. Please join Commissioner Kuhl for the presentation of your medal. Veteran liaisons will present the next medal. After I move this little pack from here to there.
Thank you, Dan. The Hunterdon County Veterans Recognition Medal is awarded to Lieutenant Dale Haber of Reddington, who served as a U.S. Army helicopter pilot in the Republic of South Vietnam from 1967 until he was lost when his helicopter crashed on April 11, 1969. Lieutenant Haver was awarded numerous medals for his gallant service, and we will all hear more about those momentarily. To the family of Lieutenant Haver, many of whom are with us today, Dale's service to and his ultimate sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County, and we consider ourselves fortunate to have this chance to honor him. The late Dale Haver's twin brother Don is accepting the medal on behalf of his brother and family. I now ask my colleagues to join us for the medal presentation. Yep.
We did practice those.
Yeah, they do it all. Thank you very much.
As Deputy Director Rich noted, Dale Haver's sacrifice and service was recognized by the Army and the United States government with numerous awards. We were advised those medals were stolen at some point in the past. Family friend Cindy Coppola-Vega and Congressman Tom Malinowski worked diligently in an effort to have those awards reissued. Please welcome Congressman Tom Malinowski for a special presentation to the Haver family.
Not yet. Why don't we do it? Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. Today is the day when every year we recommit ourselves to remembering the veterans who came home from service to our country in foreign wars, and to remember those who did not, to honor them for their service and for their sacrifice. Our armed forces have an ethos: leave no one behind, and that includes leave no memory behind. The memories of what our fallen heroes did are passed on from generation to generation within families, within communities, to inspire us to perform acts of service ourselves. And so it is my great privilege today to take part with you in this ceremony of recognition and remembrance of Lieutenant Dale Haver, a true fallen hero of Hunterdon County. Dale went to Hunterdon Central High School. He was an athlete, he was a firefighter, he was a smoke jumper for the U.S. Forest Service. So it was no surprise, I assume, to anybody who knew him that in the Army, in Vietnam, he became a helicopter pilot. Anyone here who served in Vietnam understands what that means, understands how important that service was and how dangerous it was. There were about 12,000 helicopters that saw service during the conflict in Vietnam. Around 5,000 of those 12,000 were destroyed during the course of that war. About 5,000 service members, pilots and crew, lost their lives because of how dangerous that service was. Dale performed 25 missions over hostile territory during his service. His final mission in 1969, as we heard, resulted in tragedy. He and his crew were attempting to rescue comrades on the battlefield. The helicopter crashed. Dale managed to actually get out of the helicopter, but when he realized that his gunner was still trapped in the wreckage, he went back to rescue him, and the copter exploded. 25 missions, and he was awarded 8 air medals. Think about that. 8 medals for 25 missions, 8 air medals, which are awarded for single acts of heroism. a Bronze Star, which is awarded for heroic service and meritorious achievement in a combat zone, as well as a Distinguished Flying Cross, one of the highest honors that our armed forces give for acts of extraordinary heroism and service to our country. When I learned that these medals had been stolen, my team and I went to work. We went to war with another enemy of all we hold dear, bureaucracy. And I'm happy to report that bureaucracy lost, and we were able to get the medals reissued. So why don't we take a look here, and if the family maybe could come up, the whole family come up and join us, and we can take a photo. We also have for you guys an American flag, which was flown over the United States Capitol in honor of Lieutenant Dale Haver and his service to our country. Maybe a couple over here, so we're balanced. And can we see the medals? We should see them, I think, in the picture.
Hold the front, hold on. There we go. There we go.
Okay.
Turn those sideways, that way everybody fits. Okay.
Maybe you can... Ladies and gentlemen, Marco Laguna, who works for my staff and did the work with the Department of the Army to get these medals, actually this year retired himself after 17 years of distinguished service in the U.S. Army, including several tours in Iraq. So Marco.
Thank you very much.
So much, of course.
Here, put it back on this one. Okay. Can we leave them up?
Reddington Township, the childhood home of Dale Haver, has taken a special action to honor Dale's memory. And here to make an announcement about that action is Township Mayor Jürgen Husselbusch.
So it's my pleasure to be here today as a proud resident of Hunterdon County, Reddington Township. I'm very happy that the family is here, and what we would like to do is dedicate our White House Greenway to become the Lieutenant Dale Haver White House Greenway. in Reddington, we're very proud of our open space, our farms, our environment. And my understanding is Dale Haver spent time in this very greenway along the Rockaway. It is a beautiful spot in Hunterdon County in Reddington, and we're very proud to do this. We also have ribbons and things in exhibit in our municipal building in Reddington Township. So for anyone who has the opportunity to stop in, it'd be our pleasure to have you visit. So it's, our pleasure, our township committee, Betty Ann Ford, John Albanese, Adam Mueller, myself, to honor the family and the memory of Dale Haver. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great honor to introduce our guest speaker. Formerly from Reddington, now living in Colorado, Don Haver, as you have heard, is Dale Haver's twin brother, who following his graduation from Wake Forest University also served as an Army officer in Vietnam. Don worked his career in executive positions at R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company and R.J.R. Nabisco, Inc., and today is actively engaged in supporting philanthropic and nonprofit groups in his community in Gunnison Valley, Colorado. He has traveled a long distance to be our guest speaker today. Please welcome Mr. Don Haver.
Thank you very much. It's a little warmer here, so thank you. It's nice. I think you saw all the members of our family that are here. Actually, 2 daughters that live in Crested Butte tried to fly out yesterday, but snow kept the plane from coming in to bring them here. But we've got a cousin from Twin Falls, Idaho, my oldest son, Dale Haver, from Massachusetts, my sister and her daughter and grandson from Destin, Florida, my brother and his wife from Bedford, Pennsylvania, and who else? Oh, and cousins also from here in New Jersey. So we're here as a family. I would like to thank all of the veterans and guests for coming today. It's an important occasion. And thank you to the Hunterdon County Commissioners, the Reddington Township Committee, Congressman Malinsky, for the wonderful medals that you were able to obtain. These others were combination stolen, missing. So I'd like to also thank Kevin Davis and Cindy, who helped me a lot with different things, and everyone else involved with the planning of this event and putting on this important event. So thank you. I've been asked to provide information about my twin brother, who you saw was killed. As I indicated, the helicopter crashed. He did get out, but went back to try to get the gunner out, and the helicopter exploded. So we then learned of this, and I had already been to Vietnam, so it wasn't an excuse not to go. I had been there and returned. We lived, let me, a little history, we lived in White House from the time we were 2 until we went to, or graduated from college. Since there were 2 of us and then my younger brother, we were the gathering place. This is where we went to play football, basketball, all kinds of things, because when you have 2, we'd have 4, 6, whatever. We also, and thank you to the Reddington Township Committee, we played at Green Bank, which is where this event, the renaming of the Greenway, is We went down there to camp. We went down to, quote, play Army. We played, you name it, hide and seek. We didn't have cell phones, or we didn't have the games, and not much TV. So outdoors was our main venue. He, and I say he and it's we, attended the White House Elementary School. He was a Boy Scout, Explorer Scout, played Little League, then went to Hunterdon Central High School. He played trumpet his first year, then put that up and played football the rest of the remaining 3 years. He did play basketball 4 years. The final year, they started a track team, and we ran track. After high school, he wanted to go into forestry, so he went to Montana State University. As was indicated earlier, I went south to Wake Forest University, so we became separated at the time, except for Christmas time. In college, he played football. After his sophomore year, he decided, wasn't sure what he wanted to do, took a year off, came home, then went back to the original college was in Missoula. When he went back, he went to Bozeman. The legislature changed the names of the universities, so he started and graduated from Montana State University, even though it was two different schools. During college in the summer, he worked for the Forest Service as a smoke jumper. And I mean, one of the incidents, the first year, they got surrounded by a fire, so they each one dug an individual hole. They had fireproof blankets they put over them, and a plane came in and dropped retardant, and they all made it through. I say this, it didn't deter him. He continued for 3 more years being a smoke jumper in the West, Alaska, so forth. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the smoke jumper, I'll call them uniforms. They're heavy material, a face mask, a helmet, face mask, and ropes, and they carry their equipment. Well, you know, he was proud of that, and when I went in the Army, I went to jump school. When I graduated from that, I talked to him, and he said, you know, I was very proud, and he said, oh, when you land, what do you look for? I said, we look for open land. He said, we don't. We look for the tallest tree and hook our chute onto that and then use the ropes to get down. So I was put in my place, let's put it that way. During his senior year, he took flying lessons with the Uncle Sam's help, became a pilot, and when he graduated with a degree in business administration, he then went to Fort Eustis for the Army Transportation School. He then transferred to Fort Walters, Texas to take helicopter training, and then Fort Rucker for additional helicopter training. And he, in November 1 of '68, went to Vietnam, went to the first CAV. I won't go into, I mean, he did have the 25 different missions and so forth. You all heard how he in essence died. He received 2 medals, and one was mentioned, the Distinguished Flying Cross. This is for heroism and is just below the Medal of Honor. The other, which I was not aware of, is the South Vietnamese National Order of Vietnam First Class, 5th class. During the Vietnam War, the National Order of Vietnam was bestowed upon 266 members of the U.S. military, most of whom were senior military or political advisors to the South Vietnamese. It was considered the highest medal bestowed by the Republic of Vietnam, and he received that. Say again, I was not familiar until I started looking at these things a month ago, and I would be very proud of that, as I'm sure he would be too. So that was, I'd say, his life. But I'd like to also take a few minutes to thank veterans who served in the service in the past and for the future. Thomas Paine said, "Those who expect to reap the blessing of freedom must undergo the fatigue of supporting it." Many of you here today bore that burden and experienced the fatigue of waging war in order to bring about peace. You may have been in the battlefield, you may have been here in the U.S., but everyone was connected with the same objective. To you, I say thank you. Thank you for setting the example, especially older ones, as far as when I was going to college, I took ROTC because I knew I would go into service, and one, it helped me pay for my college, but two, I could go in as an officer, which was maybe a better suggestion as to how to serve. Even though only 1% of our population serve in the military. And you all are the ones that have helped keep this nation what it is today. Winston Churchill once said, "Never in a field of human conflict was so much owed to so many by so many for so few." This is true today, that we're members of the few. Of the few American fighting men and women who have given much to ensure this great nation stays free. We owe a debt of gratitude to all of those who have served. Thankfully, our nation has always been blessed to have strong men and women with exceptional courage, and they answered the call to defend our nation time and time again on every front and in every battle. Our veterans made the conscious decision and choice to live the life of sacrifice and service for the greater cause and for America, and that has made the difference in this country. Rather than go on, I'd like to end with 4 short quotes, and I don't know who they are attributed to, but I think they provide a clear picture of veterans. First, our veterans are not just soldiers, they are our hope for a free land forever. Second, it takes a lot more than just courage to fight on the battlefield, risking your own life. And our veterans have been doing that forever. Third, the reason why we sleep fearlessly in our beds every night is that we have placed our hope and faith in our veterans. And finally, all your fight to protect the country speaks itself with your love for us. Thank you for dedicating your lives to us. Let me end with something hopefully you've heard many times and will hear many more times in the future. Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Before you step away, we have another presentation. Commissioner Susan Soloway, also a Veterans Liaison for the Commissioner Board, for this special presentation.
Don Haver, formerly of Reddington Township, served as a lieutenant for the U.S. Army's 173rd Airborne Brigade in the Republic of South Vietnam from 1965 to 1967. Mr. Haber, he has awarded most notably the Bronze Star and also the Vietnam Campaign and Service Medals. So, Mr. Haber, on behalf of Hunterdon County, your service for and sacrifice for our nation are greatly appreciated by those of us gathered here and all the people of Hunterdon County. So this is for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Don Haber again for his service and for his moving remarks as our guest speaker, and all the members of the Haber family who came from many, many miles away to join us today. I express our thanks to Ryan Reap and Monet Davis from the Flemington Chick-fil-A for the donation of the refreshments, which you'll get to in just a little bit, and to the numerous staff people from the county who helped to make this program a success, not the least of which is our great buildings and maintenance team who you see around the room. I ask for all the staff people to please stand and be recognized. And as I call Pastor Conrad up for our benediction, I want to take a moment just personally to reach out to each and every one of you. There's 21 of you receiving here today. And I just want to let you know, there's not a day that goes by. My dad served as a Marine in Korea. My older brother was a Marine in Vietnam, and he didn't die in Vietnam, but he died from Vietnam many years later. And I have to tell you that I grew up knowing fully well everybody that joins, everybody that puts boots on could end up the way Mr. Haber did. So whether you were deployed, whether you saw action or you didn't, you truly are my heroes. The fact that you would give up your life here, go somewhere else, or the chance to go somewhere else, and fight for all the freedoms and the liberties that we have in this country, I cannot thank you enough, and neither can anyone else. So please know that that is an absolute fact, and we thank you all for coming today.
It's exciting to be here to hear these reports and testimonies. There's a room full of heroes here. That's what I see, that's what I hear. Moses, a servant of God, instructed by God, and he would pass the instructions on to Aaron the priest. And here's what they said. Can I inconvenience you? Would you please stand? I'm not giving you a closing prayer or benediction. I'm giving you a blessing. And I believe everyone can receive a blessing. Would you raise your hands? The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Give you Jesus. Now that's the blessing that God instructed Moses and Aaron to be upon the people. The very next verse says, because you have invoked my name upon the people, I, God, will surely bless them. Go in the name of God and in the blessings of God. Amen.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask for everyone to kindly take a seat once again, as we're going to take a group photo of everyone from the front of the room. So please, have a seat, put on a happy face, grab a flag, To all our veterans, those we recognize at this ceremony, all those we honor today for Veterans Day, and all those who are no longer with us, thank you, thank you, thank you for your service. American freedom would not exist without your sacrifice. Ladies and gentlemen, you feel free to join us for refreshments and just some chit-chat and banter, and have an absolutely wonderful day.